and welcome to the royal version of Living Your Life. I call this the royal version because today you will meet a real live member of a royal family. This extraordinary lady is the Executive Administrative Director and Social Worker for the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America, Philadelphia, Delaware Valley Chapter. Her commitment and work in the sickle cell community has been influenced by her marriage of 25 years to the late Reverend Walter E. Brandon, who passed away from complications of sickle cell disease in 1998 at the age of 59. She's received a bachelor's degree in social work from Temple University School of Social Administration in 2001 and was ordained as an interfaith minister in 2011 through the Interfaith Studies in New York. And in 2011, she was installed as a queen into the Asir royal family in Accra, Ghana. Reverend Brandon has been a member of the First Unitarian Church of Philadelphia since 2011, serving as a former trustee, member of the Worship Arts Ministry team, Committee on Ministry, and co-founder, the First Church Voices, an intergenerational choir. She is also a certified end-of-life doula through the International End-of-Life Doula Association. She is the proud mother of 2 children, ages 38 and 55, and 4 grandchildren, 29, 9, and 6 years old. Living your life, it is our distinct pleasure to present to you the lovely, amazing Queen Mother, lifelong advocate for sickle cell, Reverend Zemoria Brandon. How are you doing, friend?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
I'm so glad to see you again.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were almost able to meet in person.
Yes.
But Storm Ophelia came through and that knocked it out the box.
That's okay, though. It didn't stop nothing you doing. And you know what?
That's right.
Let's just start from the very beginning, because you have a very interesting story surrounding sickle cell and how you were brought into the world of sickle cell. So I just want you to tell us about how that happened.
Sure. First, I just want to say thank you for inviting me to be a guest today.
Absolutely.
But my journey, my connection to sickle cell came about rather unexpectedly. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, South Side.
Yes.
And I met my my husband, Walter Brandon. I actually was applying for a job as a residential camp counselor. And I walked into the room for the orientation, and he was coordinating that meeting. And when I walked in, he pulled the chair out beside him, like that was my chair. And I was supposed to sit there. And I did. I followed the spirit and I sat in that chair.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I learned is that Walter had sickle cell disease. He was also the one of 4 children. All 4 children had sickle cell disease, and the father had the disease and the mother had the trait. So moving things along, we, got involved and felt like we wanted to get married. So he proposed to me, and at the time, I did not know he had sickle cell. He did not share that with me. So he told me when he proposed to me, Kier.
Yes.
I was like, wow. Why would you tell me this now? He said, because I wanted to make sure that you really cared about me as a person. So we got married and we were in Chicago for 2 years. Then he was offered a job in Philadelphia and he approached me and said, I've been offered a job in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. What do you think? I said, let's do it. So we came to Philadelphia in August of 1974, and Walter became part of a patient therapy group at Pennsylvania Hospital, one of the oldest hospitals in the country, and they started a support group there, and that's how I got involved with the world of sickle cell.
Yeah,
we married someone for 25 years,
and he didn't tell you. Yes, and he did not tell you until he proposed, and he asked you. That's a beautiful story, because it's like, I need to make sure you care about me. And
that's right.
And that leads us to all the national and local work that you do in Philly, all the global things that you're doing. Can you just let us know what do you do with the Sickle Cell Association of America? That chapter, the Philadelphia and Delaware chapters.
This chapter was actually co-founded by my late husband, along with 29 other people. We were established in July of 1982. So we're 41 years old now. And it was established to be able to be an organization that could provide services across the lifespan from birth to the end of life. So that's what we do. We provide services, meeting the needs of the community, individuals and families, providing transportation, advocacy, community outreach and education, support groups, newborn screening follow-up, a number of services that we provide, and partnerships that we have with 5 hospitals in Philadelphia, providing services to their patients, and the other partnerships. So we're one of 54 chapters under our national headquarters, which is in Hanover, Maryland. We're part of the Pennsylvania Sickle Cell Providers Network. We're part of another organization called Synergy. We have a partnership with the Black Doctors Consortium here in Philadelphia. A number of pharmaceutical companies, Emmaus, of course, being one of the pharmaceutical companies. And we're on a mission to make a difference in the world of sickle cell. There are a number of things that I'll bring up later that are never even discussed.
Yes. And that's one thing I was on, because you're championing the efforts for people, knowing their status, their sickle cell trait status.
Yeah.
Because that was important to you. How is that going? How's the effort for that? How are you building that?
The effort for that is going in many different directions, but mainly through our partnership with the American Red Cross. People can donate blood, but those that donate blood, if they are a person, a Black or brown person, they can also be screened for sickle cell trait. So one of the ways that we are encouraging people to find out their status is, number one, to donate blood at a blood drive. And many people, as we know, 1 out of every 12 African Americans is a trait carrier, and most people don't know their status. They learn about what it means when a child is born between 2 trait carriers. Of course, people that go into the military, they are tested to see whether they're trait carriers,
Yes.
And now in all 50 states, every baby that's born is automatically tested at birth to see whether they have the disease or the trait. But mainly with the Red Cross, every blood drive that you would go to across the United States, they now are able to screen to see what your trait status is.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's important.
Yes, that is. That is very important. And you do so much, because this organization's been there, like you said, 41 years old.
Yes.
I was 4 when y'all started. I was 4.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah, I was 4 years old. Here they go, down in Philly. And I did not know I'd be talking to you in 45, but now I'm so proud you're here for a lot of other people, because you've seen all the effects of what happens with people like myself with sickle cell, and working, like you said, from birth until end of life. And I want you to speak on this national, the opioid situation, the whole problem we have with the epidemic with opioids.
Yes. So it was declared that there was a national opioid epidemic, maybe like 6 or 7 years ago.
Right.
And of course, we know people with sickle cell disease, children and adults, they take opioids to address their pain. And so the sickle cell community got swept up into the national opioid epidemic, which caused a problem for sickle cell warriors that show up in the emergency room, that doctors think that they are there seeking drugs when they are there for pain relief. You know the story, you know the drill, you know what happens.
Yes.
But the national opioid epidemic has put a stain on the sickle cell community, because what we're saying is that people with sickle cell, they're born with the disease. The medications that they're on started when they were children and moved into adulthood. People that are affiliated with the national opioid epidemic, that's people that are doing drugs, or maybe their medication.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're working to try to separate out people with sickle cell disease so they are not impacted by the way that people that have opioid addiction are they're perceived in a different way.
I
So
know that is so true.
it's really challenging, and it's heartbreaking. That I listened to Live Your Life podcast last night where you had a nurse practitioner
Yes,
on. I can't remember her name,
yes. Her name is
but
Maya.
she was amazing.
Yeah,
And we're talking about leading with compassion when you treat anybody, but people with sickle cell disease, understanding that because they're sitting there and they don't look like they're in pain, that doesn't mean they're not in pain. They may be watching television. It's a distraction. They may be on their phone. It's a distraction to endure and deal with the pain. So
yes.
the national opioid epidemic has really caused havoc in the sickle cell community and our national headquarters, and we're working on it to develop guidelines through our governmental agencies that exempt sickle cell patients from being accused of being drug seeking simply because they have to take opioids to deal with their pain.
And that's funny because I mean it's so crazy because Ramsey, if I go in there, I'm not gonna look like I'm in pain. A lot of
Right.
times I'm in serious pain. I have to groan and moan and grunt and really fight this thing, and then when I do get an opioid approved, they give me such a small dose it don't even make an effect.
That's right.
You know,
Hmm.
that's
And you may have been there for several hours
yeah.
and you get that.
Ooh.
And then your pain has not really been addressed. As a matter of fact, it has escalated.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that y'all are really working on it because that is a serious problem for us that we don't want to be looked at like drug seekers. We're not in here. And to be called that though. And like a
That's
friend of mine
right.
said, they don't come out and use the word drug seeker. They'll go about it in a different way. When you limit the amount of opioid you give me, you're really calling me a drug seeker.
Hmm.
When you leave me in the emergency room for that amount of time without being treated, you're really calling me a drug seeker because you know why I'm here.
That's right.
And that's another issue that I see a lot with people with myself with sickle cell is that
Right.
it's not the way you call me a drug seeker, it's what you do to me lets me know that's how you're calling me a drug seeker.
Hmm.
And it
Or
is
you might say, weren't you just here last week?
calling you a drug seeker. Yes,
That's right.
yes.
Hmm.
There's so many ways
So,
they do it.
right. So I've experienced that being married to someone with sickle cell for 25 years. I saw it all. And that experience allowed me to become an advocate, to speak up, and to learn that when you go in the ER with somebody, they may not be able to speak, but you need to know what medications they're taking, what surgeries they have, what medications they're allergic to.
Hmm.
You need to have all of the information if you're going to be an advocate to support somebody with sickle cell disease.
And and this is something you do. So you've seen all of this in your work. So you're advocating for a lot of people that you see
Yes,
daily. This is what you do. It,
this is what I do. Yeah.
yes, this is
Hmm.
exactly what you do. So have you had like with the relationships you've built with these the five hospitals in the area? What does that mean when you say you build a relationship with these hospitals? What does that mean for me?
Well, we co-facilitate or participate in support group meetings. If they have a patient that comes to them and is something that they can't address, our agency will get called to see whether or not we can support them, whether it be for housing assistance, whether it's transportation, whether it's utility assistance. Maybe they're in school and they missed a semester and they need some money to reinstate them back in the program. That's the way we work with the hospitals. Every hospital has a social worker with their sickle cell program, but they may not be able to do that for this particular family or individual at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're involved in the whole life. We're looking at all aspects of someone's life, and not just the individual, but their family. There may be children in the family. One child has sickle cell, and the other children feel like that child is being favored, and the other children don't understand about the disease. So it's being able, we're certified single gene genetic counselors, so we have the skills and the expertise to be able to, speak to a family. And the other thing we do, we've lost so many, and we'll get a call about needing
Oh,
funeral assistance
gosh.
or speaking at a funeral about that person.
Yes.
So it's a number, we're covering the whole life. It's a whole life approach,
Oh.
which makes a difference.
Oh, I love that. If that's what y'all do the whole life. I mean, from the time we get here till the time I leave.
Yes.
That's super important. And also, like being married to your late husband, Reverend Brandon. After seeing him, what type of man was he if he went to a hospital? What would he be like in the hospital? What would he like when he's going through his crisis?
He was he was an activist. And like if they would come in the room and like how doctors, if you're at a teaching hospital, they bring in like residents, and then they come in the room and they say, well, Mr. Brandon, we want to do this. Well, who are these people? He would say. And then the doctor would have to explain who they were, what it is they wanted to do. It's a teaching hospital. So you're coming in, these residents are learning about sickle cell disease, So he always questioned everything. If you came in with his medication, he'd say, what is it? He wanted to make sure he was getting the right thing. Because if not, it could be something that it could be deadly,
Right.
So he wasn't a patient that would just lie there. They knew who he was. When he showed up in the ER, they knew who Walter Brandon was, and he didn't play.
I bet you love that about him. I know that he didn't play. And look like you don't play either, Rev. I can tell you that now. You don't like you don't play.
I learned it from him.
It's funny. You have an event coming up. You want to talk about the third annual sickle cell blood drive.
Yes.
Let us know how we go about getting to this. Tell me about this.
Yes, so it's December the 7th. It's in partnership with Emmaus and Domain Real Estate Group. And it will be at one of our churches that's near the area where our office is. It's from 12 to 5 on Thursday, December the 7th. People will be able to, if they donate blood, and if they donate blood and they get rejected for the day, just say their blood pressure was high, they're still going to be eligible to get an Amazon $20 and $10 Amazon gift cards. They can also be screened to see whether or not they have sickle cell trait, So we're working together to reach a goal of 37 pints. That's what we need, 37 pints.
37 pints.
That's all we need is 37 pints. But we want more to come because some people can be deferred. Like I said, their blood pressure might be high. Their iron levels might be low. Something could be going on where they're not really able to donate blood fully on that day. So we want to make sure we have a few more over so we can reach the goal of 37 pints.
Listen, if you're in the Philadelphia, Delaware area, go out there to this blood drive on December 7th. And there's going to be, where's the location going to be, Ramsey?
54th and Winfield Avenue. Everybody knows where that is. 54th and Winfield, Penn Memorial Baptist Church. That's the name of the church.
There we go. And we just need 37 pints.
Third annual.
You just need 37 pints is all we're looking for.
That's all we need is 37 pints.
Well,
and when some people say, but I don't want to donate because I don't like needles. And I said, listen, we have children that have to be transfused every 6 to 8 weeks, and they have to have a needle. So this is only one time we're asking you to donate blood. It's the gift of giving. We're in the holiday season now. Let us think about what we can give aside from material things. Give the gift of life for someone with sickle cell. And this blood is specifically for the Sickle Cell Initiative. So it's going to hospitals and departments that are treating those with sickle cell disease.
And it's the third annual too. So y'all please, yes. 54th and Winfield. They gonna be there at Rep Z. You'll get way more than 37 pints. Oh, we gonna pass that number up. 37. I'll triple this number. We take it if we triple it. So
yes.
So before I get out of here, I just want to ask you this, and I have some royal music to be playing, but I want to ask you this. How did you become a queen? Take me on this journey.
Well, I'm going to take you all the way back in time, because when I was growing up, my sister and I, my mother, she would say, this was her statement: I am raising you girls so that you can walk among kings and queens. So get it together. This is what she was always saying to us.
Yes.
And so fast forward to December of 2010. My mother passed the year before, but I was always interested in African culture, art, events and all of that. And so I decided to contact AfricanAncestry.com. And I did my DNA kit. And when it came, I did the swabbing, and then I sent it back in. And in February of 2011, I found out that my mother's ancestral line goes back to the Akan people in Accra, Ghana. That was in February of 2011. In September of 2011, I received a phone call from Dr. Samuel Corte, who's a podiatrist, but he's also the USA chief for the Ashri royal family in Accra, Ghana. He called me and he said, Zemoria, I want to nominate you to be one of our queens. I said, what?
Oh.
Why is that? I mean, what? He said, now his office is across the street from my house.
Okay.
So he watched me. He says, I've watched you over 20 years of your work in the sickle cell community, how you've cared for your husband, the other things you've done with the African and Caribbean immigrant community, and I want to nominate you to be installed. So he put my name there. Then I had to go before a panel of royals to talk about who I am, what did I bring to the table, and all of that. And I was approved to become a queen. And then Ni Amarkai, who is the kingmaker in Accra, Ghana, for the royal family, he performed the installment ceremony. I was installed with 3 other people. I was assigned to a village called Ajin Kotoku, and he gave me a name. My royal name is Na Dede Ota the First, and that means Mother Earth, one who nurtures and takes care of others. He didn't know anything about me. It was through the spirit that he came up with that name.
Oh.
So I am one of the royals, and we participate in full regalia and all kinds of weddings, funerals, memorial services, and all of that.
You have
So that's how it came about. I wasn't looking for it, but you never know who's watching. So this man had been watching me, my work, my walk, my talk over the years. And he felt that I was somebody that was befitting to be one of the royal queens in their family.
Oh, that is a beautiful story. You think they'll nominate me to be a king over there? Could I?
You're looking like a king right now.
Thank you so much, Reverend Z, for being here.
I'm going to call you King Kier.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Welcome.
I just became a royal, y'all. I was so fast.
Who is King Kier?
Yeah.
Or Chief Kier?
I just want to ask you this, Ms. Z, it's been a pleasure talking to you today. But I always like to let people express themselves on what do you want them to know and everybody to know about the sickle cell community and all the work that you're doing.
Well, I'll take myself out of the equation. Certainly, I have been blessed to have the experiences that I've had, but Don't wait until someone in your family has sickle cell to be concerned about it, to do something, starting with donating blood.
Yes.
Why can't you donate a pint of blood? Once a year, twice a year, you could become a regular blood donor. You know, believe people when they say they're in and out of the hospital and they're not being listened to, they're not being respected. Find out how can you support that person. You know,
Yeah.
understand the power of community-based organizations. We have 54 plus chapters around the United States that are doing this work to make a difference in the lives of people and individuals living with sickle cell disease. Sickle cell is over 100 years old, and pharmaceutical companies like Emmaus are, developing products to make a difference in the life of someone living with sickle cell disease. There's so much love in the sickle cell community.
Yes.
I just went to the convention in Arlington, Virginia. So much love. Let us not forget about our brothers and sisters who have sickle cell who are incarcerated.
Oh,
That's an
yeah.
initiative that we are working on. Let us not forget about our brothers and sisters that are in the shadows that have sickle cell that are part of the LGBTQ community.
Hmm.
Let us remember that they are part of our community, and in what ways can we support or help them to be able to move forward in their lives.
Well, you know what, Reverend Z? I should say, Your Highness, I think you've nailed it on the head, friend. We got so
Thank
much work
you.
to go do, don't we?
We do.
Yeah.
We really do.
But if I got a friend like you, I don't mind going to war with you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Reverend Z, for being here, for coming on, living your life, and sharing your story. We so glad that you are in the position you are to help people like myself and to love me at the same time.
Absolutely. Live in love. Thank you so much, Kier.
Yo, thank you.
Thank you.
Rev Z,
Appreciate
ladies and
you.
gentlemen, Rev Z. Your Highness. Your Highness.
You take care. Be well here. Be well.